Hi, I'm Patty.
I'm Kim Michelle.
And I'm Jill. Welcome to our podcast. It's a great day to talk.
Because honestly, what day isn't a great day to talk?
So join us in our conversation.
A Great Day to Talk is brought to you by St. George Design, offering complete website design, social media management, search engine optimization, Google and Facebook ad management, and many other digital and print marketing services. stgeorgedesign.com. And by Richardson Brothers Custom Homes, third-generation builders who have been building custom homes in southern Utah for over 25 years. They will take your dream home from concept to completion. Contact richardsonbrothers.com.
Welcome to our conversation today. We are A Great Day to Talk. I'm Patty, and I'm here with my friends Kim, Michelle, and Jill. And we are talking today about something that we probably all question a little bit, is the afterlife. In our book, The Whole Town's Talking by Fannie Flagg.
I love
the book that we will be. I know. Vanna White.
Patty is Vanna Whiting the book.
I am.
In case you can't see it out there in the radio audience.
That there is a theme in the book regarding the afterlife. We don't want to give it away, but we thought, what a thing to think about and maybe have a little conversation around.
Yeah.
What happens after this? And we all hope something great and wonderful, but we just wanted to invite you to join our conversation.
Patty, do we know what happens after death? Do we really know what happens in the afterlife? Okay, that just stymied both of you right away.
Well, I mean, I think we all know what we think we know, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who are certain 100%. I'm not one of those people.
Right. I can understand why. I wasn't certain for a really, really long time either.
What made you certain, do you think?
I think that life experience. I think that having very, very close people in my life pass has solidified for me what I feel and believe is the afterlife. And I know that it's different for everybody, but I really am pretty comfortable in my space with that. As you both nod at me.
Yes, exactly. So I know this is going to shock everybody out there to hear that we're not like actually scientists.
Wait.
And doctors.
Wait. You haven't seen all the certificates on my wall.
Well,
I your WebMD
my
certificates.
WebMD certificates that I reprint every 6 months.
If anyone is a doctor, it is this one over here.
Yes.
Thank you.
AKA Jill, Dr. Jill.
Dr. Jill Burkett, thank you very much.
Patty and I are mere mortals.
Yes.
And so we don't have all of those certificates on our walls yet. So we're not going to address it from necessarily that level, although we probably will interject some of that very unscientific kinds of proverbially, but we will present it as if it is scientific fact.
Well, and that's the whole point of our podcast, is just to have conversations around things that maybe we don't know a lot about, but wonder about. And that's what we are doing today, is inviting those of you that want to listen. And maybe we are live on Facebook. So if you have some insight, please comment as we're doing this, and we'll read your comments and talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we want to get all the information that we can.
We love having these kinds of conversations. I mean, this is really where we all started.
This really is, yeah.
This is back in forever ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago when we started talking regularly, 20-something years ago when we started being friends.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
yeah, for sure. And so, Jill, for you, when you say that you're in this space, that you're really comfortable with where you are now.
Listen to that. That's us.
Oh, that's us. How do we sound? Do we sound pretty good?
Okay, I just wanted to see what that comment was.
Yeah. What is that space for you, and how did you get yourself there?
Well, that's kind of a big question, a couple of questions.
You're welcome.
With big answers. Yes, thank you very much.
Patty and I are going to sit back now and let Jill take the floor.
So, before I had someone pass away who was really, really close to me, everything was supposition. And, there's all sorts of theories and faith-based organizations that have their ideas. And I not until I had my own experiences with the death of my mom and with the death of Katie. You guys all know very well about my dear friend Katie, who passed. And I hate that word. I hate the word passed.
Passed on.
Can we just say
passed over?
Who died?
What do you want to say?
I just want to say died.
Okay, say it.
Because I think
say it, honey.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so Katie who died, my mom who died. And really, honestly, let's be goofy if we have to. This isn't goofy, but this is really, truly from my heart. I feel the same, not the same way. My animals, my sweet, sweet poochies and my cats, my sweet cats that have died. So, like, I am not in a place where I believe that we are done. You know, there are people in my life, in my immediate family, who, you know, are really science-based around their belief structure regarding life after death. And I'm not there. That's not where I come from. But I don't believe that we're done. I believe we're all brought together for whatever reason it is, to learn from each other, to be together, to experience things, and to continue this journey on after we're finished in this space, right?
Yeah, I have to believe there is a point to all of this,
right?
That's greater than just this experience.
Sure.
We're here to learn as much as we can, and then hopefully we can take that knowledge to the next part of this journey,
right?
But still, yeah.
And, you know, honestly, and those that don't, I respect that too. You know, my own son has his whole, I mean, he's very science-based, and his own belief structure is very different from mine, which I totally respect. You know, I mean, everybody has a different level, a different belief structure, and I respect everybody at their space. So mine is that I'm not done. We're not done. We were brought together for a purpose, for a reason, for whatever it is. And we're not divided away from each other. When this life is over, we change and we move into another space, and we experience whatever it is in that space, but we experience it in some kind of connection and some kind of afterlife / I don't know if heaven's the right word for me. I really don't. But I definitely, you know, one of the things that really affected me in my coming to grips with this, and I was so grateful that I read this book long before my mom died and long before Katie died, was The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. And this book, in all of the books that I've read in the grand span of my life, affected me the most. And it's just this really short novella that takes you on this journey. And the concept is that we are all connected. Every single one of us is connected. And that when we pass, when we die, there's that word pass again, but when we die, the first thing we do is, one at a time, we meet 5 people in heaven that we were deeply connected with. Not necessarily that we knew we were connected with, but that in situations in the past, something happens and we affected each other in such a way that there was a great change in our life. And after reading this book, my life was changed profoundly in my thinking around that. And so I really believe that is not necessarily the way Mitch Albom has it laid out, but I believe that we learn what it is in another space that brought us together, and that our ultimate afterlife is with the people or the person or whatever that looks like. We're in the space that we want to be in with the people we want to be. Now, you know, talking about that, like, I'm sure my sons will have a totally different idea of afterlife, right? But we'll still be connected. We'll still, like, I'll go and visit them in their world. They're going to come and visit me in my world. I don't know what that piece looks like, but I know that saying goodbye to Katie wasn't goodbye.
Right.
I know that saying goodbye to my mom wasn't goodbye, but I also know that just because these 2 most influential people in my life, and so many of the influential people in my life, we are all in different places, spaces, religious organizations, belief structures, all of that. We're not going to be separated. we're not going to be able to see each other. We're not going to be able to visit with each other. I just don't. That's not where I sit.
You don't believe that we won't be able to see each other or be separated.
I don't believe
yes.
we. Yeah, I hope I probably said
Right.
it backwards. So no. Because really, like if I'm going to hell, then I hope all my good people are with me there.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so
Like
the
us.
three of
So,
us,
well,
right?
yeah, for
I'll
sure.
be- and and
Yeah.
it's the funny joke. It's like, well, if I'm going to hell, I'm going to be in good company because my loves are going to be there. And okay, that's fine. But I don't believe that we're going to be separated.
And you said earlier today that your belief around heaven is whatever that space is your happiest
is your happiest place.
So
Your happiest
place is where you may go with all of the knowledge that you've
Yeah.
attained in this life. Of course, I know my dad's always said, well, you can't take your money with you.
Right? There's no pockets in our caskets.
Yeah.
It's
And
all
I
about
took
experience.
I took that to heart. So I have been spending as fast as I could.
Do you need some help?
No,
Do you need me to
not
help you
spending.
spend
No,
that money?
I definitely won't have any money to take with
Dang
me.
it.
And you know what? That's exactly
Right.
Like I want experiences and memories and connections and family and friends and places and spaces. I want all of that. And the idea of that their separation doesn't sit. My pets, you know, bless their hearts who have moved over the Rainbow Bridge, which, I buy into it. My pets are hanging out together. And when I get there, they're going to be so happy to see me. And Sarah's going to be back on my lap and Shep's going to be on my lap and making Sarah mad and my Sarah dog, you know, and for whatever reason.
No, wait. You don't. Wait. Your pets aren't going to be perfect when you get up there. Like they're still going to be making each other mad. And
No,
they're
that's
just
what
gonna
I'm
be
saying.
Barking when you don't want them to bark.
Because see, that was what happened with Sarah and Shep. Sarah was my bodyguard. She was the 8-pound bodyguard that sat on my lap. And if Shep, my dog, my other Chihuahua, or if Jazzy, my other Chihuahua, came anywhere close, Sarah would lose her marbles.
Yeah.
And so Shep knew to irritate her. Because whenever Sarah would lose her marbles, I'd set her down. Nope, you don't get to lose your marbles. And so Shep figured that out. And he's like up and immediately in my lap. They're going to be the same way.
Aw.
Right.
I think it's okay.
That's heaven or that's hell?
Well, it's a little of both. But really, that's the whole idea to me.
Right.
So.
Well, we have a comment on Facebook by, I think, a relative of yours.
Yes,
and I
this is
love that
Sweet
she
Tracy
said, I
From
think
Nova Scotia. So shout out to
shout out
my
to
Canadian
Canada.
family. And
Tracy.
Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah.
Do. Tracy, I'm going to be near you in 3 weeks. I'm going to be in Franklin, Maine, which is right across the harbor from Bar Harbor in Acadia National Park. So I'll wave.
Yeah,
I'll wave to you in Nova
and
Scotia.
It's so beautiful there. And really, the Deatters have really lost so many of, you know, my aunt and uncle generation. And her dad is the sweetest, really.
Oh.
And, you know, she has a beautiful comment in here that she says that that I think that maturity gives us a different sense of what that looks like. I think she's absolutely right. I think when we're young, that I think the concept of heaven and hell and I think that concept when we're young is used to get us when we're young
it's really
kids.
fear-based, and it's to
it's
get us to
fear-based.
do what
To show up the
somebody
way,
wants us to be.
sit quietly, or we're not going to get to heaven, or
Right,
you know,
right.
don't steal, don't take what's not
Right.
yours,
So
or you're not going to get to heaven.
and that's the same with our thinking when we're young. Our thinking when we're young is very black and white, and as we age, we can see that there's some gray, or there's a bigger picture, and there's metaphor and
Everything.
And we could think in hypothetical situations where you can't when you're young. So it's easy to teach through those concepts.
Yeah.
Tracy, thanks for that comment.
Yeah,
because
she
I
talks
really
about-
feel like that for myself.
as she matured and as we gain maturity, that
And I think
she
mine
says
came,
it'll be a place to reunite on the other side, and that when she's there, that her dad will be there to take her hand.
and greet
And
her.
Yeah, of
I
course.
so see that.
That's
for sure.
that's
Yeah.
exactly it. And that's going to be my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be Katie.
Yeah.
And we're going to catch up on everything. I believe that for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, was it Tracy? Who was it that said? Yeah, Tracy said, "I'm halfway through the book." So you've got to the part where we're talking about this concept of a conversation in the afterlife. So
Our friends in the still meadows.
yes,
Right, Tracy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't read, hopefully that will nudge
Then
you
keep
to
reading.
do that. Keep reading because it's a fun thing to think about, which is what we're here to do. Is just talk and think about the
What could
afterlife,
be.
what could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had I'm sure we've all lost several people. I haven't lost a parent or a close friend like you yet, Jill. My husband has, and we've had a lot of loss on his side of the family, and I would hope that they are all there waiting for the rest of us to get there as well. And I know that can bring hope, and hope that there is an afterlife keeps us going.
Right.
And also, it's a convenient way to get through the thought of death,
Yeah.
which some people can think of it that way as well, which is a little cynical.
Right. When you think about it, really, I mean, I think honestly, like there are two very scary thoughts for me. One of them is death, and one of them is, well, I guess there's three. One of them is getting to death, the experience of suffering at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The next is death. And then the third is what the heck after.
Mm-hmm.
And I've solidified in my head how the after is going to be. And because of what the after is to me, I'm pretty okay with the actual death piece, but it's that getting to the death piece.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things about our book is that we see all sorts of
Getting to.
Getting to. Yeah.
Getting to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you, Kim Michelle?
I think that I grew up like a lot of us did with with an idea about a very rule-based, fear-based concept of what was required for you to be able to enter the pearly gates, and also a very fear-based, rule-based situation about the price you would pay if you didn't live a life according to that, to get you to conform to the standards that other people expected you to perform at. And I just think that's the wrong way to go about it. I think you just teach people to be good people because it's the right thing to do.
Thing to do.
Yeah. That there's reward in being a good person, just in being a good person. And that I believe God is a merciful God and not an angry God. I believe that he sees us as good people, and that he wants the best for us, and that
he will show us grace.
Yes, he will show us grace.
And
that my job is to show that grace in this world.
Yeah.
That same grace that I would expect that he will show of me.
Right.
And that is my job. Not to meet a bunch of goalposts along the way, but to simply live in a world of grace the best way I know to do it, and that he will be merciful in that moment. But it has taken me a really long time to unpack that, right? To release off of all of the judgment about who I believed myself to be based on the standards that I thought I had to be in order to be seen as worthy of being heaven bound. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think we were talking too about the idea of experiences that you two have had, and I've had friends who have had experiences with people who have died or passed on, where they've come to you in certain signs or dreams or feelings or certain things. I know my good friend, there was an owl on the house watching over her mom's house as she was dying in her last few days. There was this owl there, and since her death, which was almost 6 years ago, owls have appeared in various ways. And one person may think, well, now you're just noticing owls. They've always been there. And regardless of why, if that's why, or if they're appearing now or watching over, it's because they're there. And regardless of why, that gives you some comfort, or it gives you a great reminder about her mom. And I know you've had experiences, and you said you were going to tell a story.
Well, there's this whole conversation about spirits and energies,
right?
And
Absolutely.
I absolutely believe that we are
a bundle of
beings.
energy.
That's what we are.
We are.
And so, and every living thing is an energy being and has an energy vibration, and not just every living thing, but everything has an energy vibration. And so I know that when I was a young teenager and I was sleeping downstairs in our basement on the height of bed, I woke up and there without a doubt, there was an energy form in the basement. And
Really?
I spoke to it. It didn't speak back to me, but I spoke to it very clearly. And it was scary to me. It was very, very scary to me. But after I had my son, Brandon, I had another experience. And when you're a new parent and you're so tired and you're exhausted,
Right.
but you're watching just your baby breathe.
Yes.
All night long because you're so afraid they won't be breathing. And so you're just exhausted. And I remember Brandon was sleeping at the foot of our bed. We had a really small, well, it was a big apartment, but it was downstairs in the basement of a really big Victorian house. And I was exhausted. And I remember I was so afraid that Brandon wasn't healthy. And a figure was there, and I even to this day I can still absolutely describe the figure. I can describe what he was wearing, the vest, the pocket watch with the gold chain, everything.
Kim Michelle.
But a totally different energy, a total energy of, we got this. You're good. Go back to sleep.
We're
He's
watching.
fine.
Kim
Yeah.
Michelle,
He's
you've
fine.
never told us that
Yeah.
before.
I don't talk about it that much, but
Wow.
it was such a
powerful.
Oh, yeah. And I woke Scott up. I'm like,
He's like, why are you waking me up? They just said he was fine and you could sleep.
And I asked
my
him if he could
word.
see him, and he couldn't see him, but I could describe him
Wow.
to the T. And it very much reminded me of Scott's brother, but but very, very much a comforting energy.
Kim
That's
Michelle,
awesome.
that's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah,
That
it was
is
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much because I'm right there with you. I absolutely know that we are energy, and that we've always told the boys that too. That when we die, our energy still continues on. Our energy just changes shape, right? And our body is dead, but our energy moves
Soul,
on, right?
energy, right,
Yeah, and
spirit.
it's lots of people refer to it in all different ways, but I think really probably the common denominator is pretty similar, right?
Sure.
There's something about us that doesn't end, and I 110% believe that with not only with Kate, but one of our dear friends who has had a tremendous loss over this last year, and she sees roadrunners, and I see roadrunners too. And I love that because I always say, oh, okay, there he is. Hey, hi. How's
Right.
it going? And it's the same. I mean, it is for sure. I mean, we've lived in the desert forever, right? We recognize certain creatures or animals or whatever that are in our space all the time, but this is something different. This is something completely different. And it's the same with Katie. It's the absolute same with Katie.
Feathers.
Yeah.
Feathers
Well, and
with
somebody
Katie.
had said, I had shared this with somebody, and they said, well, you don't really know what that was, but it doesn't matter. That's the point. The point is that we're such powerful creatures that even if that was a construct of my own mind, of my own consciousness,
Sure.
my consciousness, my subconsciousness was aware enough to know that that's what I needed in that moment to have comfort.
Yeah.
And it knew to pull from my subconscious something that could give me comfort in that moment. Even if that's how we want to describe it.
Sure.
I don't know. It doesn't matter to me.
Right.
The only thing that matters was that it gave me comfort, right? So
What do you have to say about the subconscious, Patty,
Oh,
psych teacher?
yeah.
Like, we know that that's huge
I
and
think-
holds all of our baggage and all of our whatever.
Right. I definitely think we do have a subconscious. There's a little controversy about what exists in there, but it's like a part of our consciousness or psyche that is paying attention to everything when our consciousness can only pay attention to a couple of things.
Or maybe can handle only a
Or
couple of things.
handle. So
right?
it goes, I'll take that. And sometimes maybe our subconscious has to push it to our consciousness. Hey, you need to pay attention to this.
Right.
But I also believe too that spirits of our ancestors watch over us. And I went to a gal years ago to just align chakras or help me with some energy or angst or whatever was going on. And it was quite a while ago. And it's a gal that I just love and wish she lived closer. But, and I have some friends and family who still go to her, and she's amazing. And, but anyway, it was so comforting to know. She said, you have a lot of angels around you. And one in particular is your grandpa. And so I had a really close relationship with my grandparents growing up. I walked to my grandparents' house every day after school. Well, actually, I rode the handlebars of Dustin Mathis's bike on the way to my grandma's from West Elementary. And
Did your dad know?
no, that I was riding the handlebars? Probably not, but Dustin and I were friends for years, and I've taught his cute kids. But anyway, so I went fishing with my grandparents. I spent summers at my grandparents'. I was super close to my grandma and grandpa. And so to know that my grandpa's spirit is still there watching over for me or protecting or whatever it is doing, I have to give credit to the reason I am the way I am is maybe because of not only my experiences with my ancestors in this life, but maybe their influence on me after they have passed.
Yes.
And so there's that. And I know, there are people, and I truly believe there are people that feel spirits or are able to reach over and talk to or
have a thinner space between here and there.
Some way to experience those that have died.
And Jill, you've had an experience with that, right? With seeking out someone.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing that?
Well, when shortly after Katie died, there was definitely this. It happened. Her death was unexpected and very fast and young, and so the need for understanding and wondering and questioning and all of those kinds of things definitely is part of that big grieving process. And so Alyssa and I, her daughter, and I went and saw a medium, and there was a lot about that visit that was really, really comforting. There was a time later when I went and saw someone also separately who really had so many things to say that not only Kate, but my mom would have said. And, those deaths were so close together that I think really part of my mourning process with Kate also had some piggyback effect with my mom, because when my mom died, I had, I took on the business hat and was, the oldest sister and tried to make sure everybody else was okay and, make sure my kids were okay and make sure, all those kinds of things. So I kind of compartmentalized it. And so it just happened to be a really good time when Kate died for me to kind of look at some things with my mom as well. And so I went and saw someone here in town who really brought me a lot of comfort in a lot of things that she said that, you know, honestly, people can think whatever people want to think, and that's totally okay. But when certain things are talked about that are not general, not that are very specific, that aren't things that anyone could find on the internet or anything like that, you know, there's connection. You know, there's connection, and there's resonation that happens in your heart and in your mind and in your soul that confirms to you that
this energy is
that
living
this
on.
Is it. Yep, that this is it,
Yeah.
and that I have a really great idea of what I feel Kate is doing up there. I have a really great idea with what my mom is doing, and that they're still with me. And you know, there are certain things that I see in my spaces too that I really recognize as, hey, hello, I'm here. What are you thinking? Quit doing that. That's dumb. Jill, knock it off. You know, talking to me in ways that they would have talked to me when they were here. So, yeah. So I really have had very positive and helpful and soul warming, gathering, hugging experiences related to that.
Yeah. And so has that brought you comfort? Yeah.
A lot, a great deal, a great deal. And like I said, you know, people can question it, and that's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could possibly say that maybe I would have questioned it before too. I don't know. I don't remember. It's really weird because you don't remember so well the before.
Yeah. Before you needed
it.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Sure.
So, and I'm so blessed I get to go with a close friend this week to, you know, just find another space of comfort for her. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity too. And it's just, you know, all of us find comfort in the places where we find them. And I think that that's the biggest message with talking about what happens after death. Are you looking in the right places? Are you around people that will help you or can help you, or you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it's not like you always miss the people that you've lost.
Oh
Sure.
gosh.
But maybe feeling that there is a chance that you will see them again is what helps us spend this time away.
Right. And I'm confident I will. So that's like a huge thing too.
Right.
Yeah, it's the lack of finality. It's just it doesn't take away the mad. Like clearly there's, you know, you're still mad
Well,
that
there's
happened and what
Still
in the
the
heck.
stages of grief.
Yes,
that you get to work
absolutely.
through.
Sure.
And, you know, in the grand scheme of it, I think that, you know, like the movie Coco. You guys remember the movie Coco?
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things in that book in that movie that I really can connect to with having experienced it pretty up close.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, deep thought.
Yeah.
Rachel Burkett.
Absolutely. No,
Deep thought.
Deep thoughts by Robert
a-
Smiley. What was his name? Rich, what?
Jack Handy.
Jack Handy, that's who it was.
Yeah,
Jack
yeah,
Handy.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
Right,
gosh.
right.
I've got to go find those.
We have a shelf kind of, well, it's designated to our close people who have
Yes.
passed, and we have 3 different urns that contain 3 different
do.
people. We have pictures of
Yeah.
people that have passed. I found a name tag of my friend's mom in a drawer and put it next to her picture who's passed. And we have, we kind of have this
Little
shrine for our people. And I just love that I can just look over and there are my close people that, or
They
that
are
have
your
passed.
close
Yeah.
people. All of them
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
your close people. You spent lifetimes with those people.
Yeah.
Sure. And so when you say that you haven't had
Well,
a
I
close
haven't-
person,
yeah.
that's absolutely not true.
We've
you have had a lot.
Definitely have had close
death.
people, but
Yeah.
and I think there is still a lot of mystery in what is to come Which,
For sure.
For you.
Yes, for me. For me, there's still mystery. I think
I'm just going to stick
I'm
with
hoping
mine.
there's something out there that makes all of this worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think part of it is just, you know, a lot of people have said that there's a certain thing that they see over repetitively.
Sure.
And part of it is just being aware, right? Somebody has said it's birds that they see over and over, and somebody has said dimes. They see dimes everywhere that represent their dad. And when you read about a lot of things, money seems to be something that pennies and dimes and nickels that somehow are representative of the loved one. And I think maybe that's their way of saying, hey, be looking for me, right? Maybe I'm not sitting next to you here anymore, but I'm still here. So be looking for me because I'm around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love signs. I love to see something and go, oh, that reminds me of them. And I definitely know that you feel your mom and your sister near you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your mom and and
well,
Katie. Yeah. Your
Yeah.
mom and
You know,
Katie.
Yeah.
sister from another mister for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure.
And it's true. And we all will, because we all get to experience it, right? It's nobody gets out of this place alive. Nobody gets out of this experience alive.
Well,
for
it
sure.
is inevitable at some point.
Taxes.
Yeah.
And death
Yeah.
are the inevitables.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really love this topic, and I love how it ties into our book. It really gave me another perspective as I read about our community and our town in ours. In our book, the community in the town, and as they go through this very thing that they each learn to grapple with, and how that comes about and what happens in their experience. Again, the 5 people you meet in heaven was profound in my experience of creating and coming to a comfort with how I see that happening for me. There's lots of books out there. There's lots of songs.
So much
There's
information.
movies. There's all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So, you know, spirituality is great and amazing for lots of people that brings them comfort and, you know, all sorts of other elements.
I think that would be the main takeaway, hopefully, from this conversation is that there isn't a wrong conversation around it.
Right.
That if you approach the conversation from an openness and, you know, what does it mean to you? And does that serve you? Does it bring you a peacefulness? Does it bring you the space to move forward and be able to operate in your best self? And if it does that, then embrace that and create a space for other people to be able to embrace that same thing too. Then good on ya, because these conversations that we have here are definitely not the end all and be all. They're just
it's just something to think about
they're
and
just a
talk
starting
about.
point. Yeah, we'll probably end this and then we'll go out in the parking lot and we'll have another hour's worth of conversation about this.
Right.
That's what it is. That's what it's designed for. Is
Right.
just to, you know, give you an opportunity to start your own conversations.
Right.
So thank you for joining us, and let's go to our gentle nudge.
Gentle nudge.
Mm-hmm.
Read the book.
Mm-hmm.
Read the book and
maybe
read the book. I just love the book.
Read the book for sure, but also maybe talk to someone about thoughts on the afterlife. It's
Yeah.
interesting to get other perspectives.
Yeah.
And just what does that mean? And I just want to read one last thing, if you don't mind. Do you mind?
We don't mind.
My husband loves this song, and this is kind of his mantra about the afterlife, but it's a song by 10,000 Maniacs called Let the Mystery Be, and it says, some say they're going to a place called glory, and I ain't saying it ain't a fact, but I've heard that I'm on the road to purgatory, and I don't like the sound of that. I believe in love, and I live my life accordingly, but I choose to let the mystery be. And he does live in love.
Yeah, he really
he
does.
does.
Yeah,
Riley,
he really does.
I love you.
Yeah, and my gentle nudge would be if you haven't seen Coco or you haven't seen Soul.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Soul.
both really delightful movies. You can watch them with your children. You can watch them with the adults in your life. You can watch them with friends, whatever. But they're really just a delightful way to also engage in the conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, that makes me want to switch mine. Of course, I want you to read The Whole Town's Talking, but maybe look up 5 People You Meet in Heaven.
And
And look up 5 People You
Yeah.
Meet in Heaven. And you may not take it as deeply as I did, but it certainly promotes thought about how we're all connected and what we all bring and take from each other.
Great.
Love it.
Blue bowl.
Blue bowl. Okay.
Blue bowl.
There you go, Cam.
I'm going to let you start because I think I usually start.
Okay.
Not that there's
That's
anything
'cause you're
wrong
the
with that.
closest one.
I know.
What surprised me the most, I ran the longest I've ever run on the treadmill in one sitting.
One run.
In one run, one sitting I ran.
Good for you.
One sitting on those
I
little
ran
hiney. Her
sitting.
hiney was just moving along.
Yeah, no, I've never run without stopping as long as I did. I'm not going to tell you it was only 2 minutes, but it wasn't.
It doesn't matter how long, Patty.
No, it was
Patricia,
long.
that's
It was long for
fantastic.
me. It wasn't 2
so
minutes. It was
awesome.
longer.
That's so great. Congratulations. I know that's
Yes,
a huge accomplishment.
absolutely.
It surprised me that I didn't bell
Well,
during it.
Because that's easy to do, but
I
you
usually
stuck with
do.
the hard.
Yeah.
You stuck with the hard. Yay.
Congratulations. That that really is great.
That is totally
Yeah.
cool. Good
And
for you.
what I love about that too is that you're willing to acknowledge that. So just don't diminish it. Just own it, girlfriend. And I was a total rock star.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you just whisper that?
Yes. So, what made me smile this week? So I know all of you are going to get so sick and tired of this, but for the next 3 weeks until all of this is over, this is what it's still going to continue to be. So what made me smile last night was the Utah Jazz won their first game in the second round. And not only did they win, but they came from so far behind because they played so poorly in the first half, but they played so well. And Donovan Mitchell was
Honestly,
just
I think
so
you have a crush on him.
amazing.
Well, he scored over 40-something points last night.
And not only that, when he plays like that, he
watched
just
it. I don't normally know
inspires. Look what I've done
She's
here.
inspired me.
He just inspires his whole team to show up and play in that kind of way. So I just, it was just amazing. It was just, our kids were calling them, and it was just,
That's
I just
exciting
love
for
it
you
so
guys.
much.
It was
So
fun.
That's very
that
cool.
definitely put a smile on my face. Okay, I'm done.
My biggest accomplishment. I can't even believe I'm going to talk about this.
Ooh, this is going to be good.
Ouch.
This is going to be juicy.
Oh yeah. So I got up on Monday morning and I went and did the blasted exercise class, and then I went and got this amazing massage from Marnie, I adore so very much. And then I came home and it was only 10 o'clock and I was so tired, and I thought, I'm going to lay down and take a nap. I laid down, I couldn't fall asleep. So instead, I turned on Netflix and I watched Netflix all day.
What did you watch?
I watched the entire season of Sweet Magnolias.
Oh,
Aw,
that's cute.
it is cute.
Which is, it's kind of cheesy,
Yeah.
and it's sweet and all of that. But I don't know when the last time I've done that.
That is
because
perfect.
It has been a year. So the biggest accomplishment was that I did nothing.
That's an
I
accomplishment.
think that is actually great for
I
you.
love
I
I
that.
think for me that's a kind of an accomplishment.
It is an
it's
accomplishment
a huge
for you.
accomplishment. I love that.
So I have to, yeah. So anyway, I feel shame and accomplished all at the same time.
No shame.
No shame. You get to take the shame back. We cannot leave here till you take the shame back.
Brene would be mad at me. Our friend Brene.
Yes.
Brene Brown.
Well, then Brene has to leave the building. So you get to take the shame
No.
back. Take
Yeah,
it back,
she would
girlfriend.
be ashamed for me too.
Yep.
Well, she wouldn't be
Thank
ashamed. She
you.
would say she'd be ashamed.
Yeah.
Oh, look at us.
Yeah,
for
thank you
listening.
for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Happy week.
Oh, and next week we have
our first guest.
our first guest for realsy. So join us next week.
Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to It's a Great Day to Talk.
Be sure to follow and subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform.
And until next week,
Get out there and talk.
This has been a production from a podcast studio.